Hey guys, Eric here, and I'm super excited for this video. Today we're going to be playing with this. This is the OneXplayer, the OneXFly F1 Pro. This is the one with the OLED screen. Basically the top dog when it comes to handheld PCs right now. I've been playing this a lot and really enjoying it. But today we are about to absolutely set it off. And how do you do that? Well, first we're going to start with an SSD upgrade. I'm going to take you through how to do that. But then second, we're going to add a BMA drive to this. So there are a few hidden screws on this thing, and I'm going to show you how to get to them. The first thing obviously is you want to make sure it's powered off, and it is powered off right now. And then we are going to get inside. This currently has a 2TB SSD in it, but we are going to be upgrading to 4TB SSD so that we can fit the full 2TB BMA drive on here. So the first thing we want to do is we want to take a little pry tool like this, and you're going to want to remove, there's these two extra side panels here. There's some RGB in each of these, and but these come off separate to the unit. So we're going to take our little pry tool, we're going to get right in here. There's a little crack in between, just like that, and you see how it's pried up there. And then we're just going to take our pry tool, and you could probably do this with your fingers as well, and we're just going to follow it around on the top here, and we're just going to pry it away. And there's some clips, and then there we go. That's how we get it out from the top, just like that. But on the bottom there are also some clips just right here, so I don't want to break any of these clips. So I'm just going to take my little pry tool, I'm going to put it in this crack here, and I'm just going to gently, there we go, gently pry those away, and there we go, pops right off. So that's the first guard. I call them like grip guards or whatever. So that's the first one, and there's the little RGB logo that it covers up right there. And we're going to do the same thing on this side right here. So those are the two handle guards, and that's how you remove those. So as you can see, with the hand guards or the grip guards off, you'll see there's a little tiny screw right there, and then another one right there. And then there's an identical two screws on the other side. So the other screws are going to be on top here, but they're underneath this panel here. So there are extra buttons. This is a button, and then this is a button. And the first thing we need to do is we need to pry these buttons up, and they just come up like that. And then you should be able to just wiggle it side to side and pull it right out. And then there's a screw right there. Be pretty gentle with these. They're just held in with little clips. You don't want to break those clips. And you'll see that two more screws have been revealed. We need to remove this part here with our buttons and our ports. So we're going to pry open this part here. And you can just pry open from one side, and you just kind of follow it along, being really gentle not to break any of the clips. And we can actually probably just pry it up from this side as well. Yep, there we go. Okay. The power button just popped out. That's okay. It didn't break or anything. It just popped out of this little guard. And the other buttons are going to be a little bit loose as well. The volume rocker is what I'm referring to. And we just want to follow this along and pop it out. There we go. Removes that little guard on the top. And then we can take our volume rocker out just like that. And you can see that there's more screws revealed. Now that we have the 3 screws on the top revealed and the 2 screws on each side, it's time to work on the bottom. So on the bottom here, we have our little warranty void sticker there. There's a screw right underneath that sticker, and there's another screw underneath the serial number sticker here as well. So I'm going to peel this back a little bit, and we can get to that screw. I want to take the serial number sticker completely off. The screw is actually here on the right side. You can see it there. So now the next step is just to remove all these screws. So we're going to start with these screws on top. now that we have all the screws removed, you should have 2 on the bottom, 2 on each side, and then 3 on top. And now we can begin to pry the back off of this. And you can see here, the back comes off. There's a little crack right here that you should be able to get your pry tool in, and there we go. And it just pops off pretty easily. I love how easy this thing is to take apart. This is actually my first time in this device, but there we go. And it just pops off, and we should be able to just lift it off just like that. Very nice. Now we are actually inside the device. You can see the 2 speakers here down on the bottom. They still have our buttons attached, and we have the main active cooling fan and then the giant battery that's right here. I absolutely love this device. The SSD is actually underneath this cooling fan, so we have to remove this cooling fan to get to the SSD. So removing this fan is easy enough. There are 3 screws here, 1, 2, 3. These are different than the screws that attach the outer case. So we are just going to remove these screws here. So now, with those 3 screws out of the cooling fan, we can just peel back this tape. You don't need to peel it all the way back, just leave it right there. And then we can actually remove this active cooling fan. It's a pretty large fan. And then we can just unwrap the wire. The wire is wrapped around this little clip right here. And you can just unclip it just like that. It comes out. Now, we still have to go lower. This cooling plate has to come off, but that's not too bad. I'm going to peel off this tape. We are going to reuse that tape. So I'm just going to set it on the side for now. And I'm going to unplug this fan as well. There is 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws. So we're just going to remove those 4 screws. These are very similar, if not exactly the same, to the screws that came out of the case. And in fact, they are identical. I just compared them. So that's good, just in case you mix them up. Not a big deal. There, and now this plate just comes out and we can finally see the SSD. There is our full-size 2280 NVMe M.2 SSD in all of its glory. It's got a cool little graphic on it. It is Acer brand SSD, and we are going to go ahead and remove it. This just comes up like a normal M.2 SSD. Remove the retaining screw. It will come up at a 45-degree angle, and then you can just wiggle it out of its port. And there we go, 2 terabyte Acer SSD, and we can replace it with our 4 terabyte. Here's the old SSD, and what I did was I just imaged it over to the new. This is the 4 terabyte. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the 4 terabyte in. So it looks like that final screw was captive, which is why it did not come out earlier. So we're going to put our little cooling plate back on. Now we'll get this back in. Put our tape back on. That's all mounted properly and in place. Now we can put the back cover back on the system. Clip into place all the way around, and we can continue to put screws in. get this so the volume rocker goes in properly. Yeah, just like that. And power button. They're keyed, so they only go in one way. So this volume rocker is gonna go right there, and the power button we'll try to keep. Never mind, we won't try to keep on there. All right, so the power button is just gonna go just like that, and then we will clip this into place. Make sure everything lines up. That is all locked on. Now I got to put the bottom screws in, and then we should be good to go. There we go. Make sure it's all on. We're all good. Power this thing on. So now that we have it fully booted up, I had to do some moving around of partitions, but if you look here, you can see we've got two partitions here. We've got one 1 terabyte here and then one at 2.73 terabytes. So we've got the full 4 terabyte SSD installed and it's working. Now it is time to copy over BMA onto the C drive so we can start playing some retro games, and I can talk about that in the next part of the video. All right, guys, now that we finally have the 2 terabyte BMA drive from my boy Eli fully copied over to our 4 terabyte internal SSD on the OneXFly, it is time to actually get into the BMA drive itself and get into this review, or not really review, but just demonstration of the BMA drive and how fantastic it actually is. Again, this is the 2 terabyte variant. I believe this is the largest variant he offers currently. Now, I've done a review or a little, demonstration of his smaller drive and of the 1 terabyte variant, which is also fantastic, but you can never have too many games. So this is the 2 terabyte variant. I believe he sells this on an external SSD like this, so it can be used on any computer, basically, any PC, handheld or not. You can use it on that. He might sell it on a micro SD card as well. Either way, check out his store. His Etsy store will be down in the description below. And let's start this up. If I can actually double tap something and do this properly. You'll get into it. You'll be greeted by his absolutely epic intro video, and it starts up. There it is. There we go. BeardedManArcades, BMA. I love this intro. The music is absolute fire, and dude, the drive is just amazing. All right, let's get into it. Let's skip this. All right. So you have all your systems on here. He's added a bunch of stuff. Full game libraries, all kinds of stuff. So just more than you can ever ask for. You got some PS3 on here. You got all kinds of stuff. I'm not going to go through all of it. It would take me years to go through and play, the amount of games that are on here. But I am going to show some highlights, some things that are interesting. And the first thing I'm going to show right here is a series that I really have to dive into. Suffice to say, it sucks. I'm not an expert on this series. I really should be because of how good it is. I haven't actually dove into it, but I plan to. And we're going to start with this right here. Absolute epic game here. PlayStation 3, God of War 3. I'm ashamed to say that I am not totally familiar with everything in this series. And I wish I was, because I know the series is so good. I promise I'm going to play through this series. I'm going to play through these games. Right now, I'm in the middle of like this Final Fantasy obsession, and I've been playing a lot of the old Final Fantasy games. Either way, that's neither here nor there. This is PlayStation 3, so it's going to take a little bit of time to start up. But to have a handheld PlayStation 3, I mean, what the heck? Why not? it's absolutely epic that we get this. So let's get into this. I'm just going to show some gameplay so you guys can see some frame rates and what it looks like. Eli over at BMA has done some incredible stuff to these games to make them perform in a reasonable fashion, playable fashion, so you don't need this particular device to play. Gosh, it looks gorgeous. I love that. That OLED screen is absolutely incredible. Your son has returned. Okay. It's actually oh no! Oh dude. Okay. Bust them out. I mean, this is right up my alley. Why have I never played through these games? I love these kinds of games. Bayonetta type games, Devil May Cry. I mean, these are the games I like, and this is right in that genre. Let's see, we got L1 to block. Alright, cool. Why do I need to block? I'm a god, aren't I? Anyway. Oh, whoa. I'm fighting on someone's shoulder. That's dope. Anyway, you can look at the frame rates here. The graphics look incredible. Sound is great. I'm not seeing any hitching or anything like that. It looks like we're getting steady, at least, I don't know, 55, 60 FPS. I suppose I could actually display the FPS on the screen, but who cares? Let's play the game. I mean, there's a lot going on, and it's not hitching, like, at all. Ooh. So, super dope. There we go. Dope. Use something to dodge. Oh, dodge. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, I'm going to move off of this game. God of War 3 absolutely performs, totally playable, looks epic, great way to play. Portable PlayStation 3, dude. Okay. All right, let's move on to something else. Something that I've been dabbling with on here that a lot of people may not even know exists. But it's on here, and it's amazing that it's on here. So, let me find it. I'm going to go into Arcade Classics, and I'm going to go to P, and we're going to go. I'm also trying to show people like exactly what's on here. You can pause the video, you can look at the list. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everything. There's just too much. Let's go a little faster. Right here. If you're familiar with the first one, you might not know that the second one exists, but the second one is actually 100 times better than the first one, in my opinion. Now, this game was never released, which is why you get this warning message here. You know, I've played this game on a real cabinet, like one of 2 actual cabinets that exist. We're going to coin up. This is Primal Rage 2, and it's a fantastic game. This guy. Kaze. Let's turn up the volume a little bit. So this game's a little bit different than the original. You start out as avatars of the animals, and then you can morph into them to do quick combos and special moves and stuff. I believe fatalities as well. I don't know any of the fatalities. You know, I wasn't a huge fan of the first Primal Rage game. I thought the concept was unique, but again, wasn't a huge fan of it, and this one is better. What? Oh, I split. Okay, I figured it out. Okay. There we go. Ah, I wish I knew a fatality, but I don't. The graphics are good on this. It actually runs really, really smooth. You may run into a freeze here and there with this game. You're not going to run into it every single time, just because it's an incomplete game. It was never officially released, and you know, it was one of those casualties of Atari being taken over by Midway, so the game was never actually released. But doesn't mean it's not great. and it's available on the BMA Drive. Something that you may not see every day, and something that, you know, you may not have even known existed. We really need to learn some moves. Can't believe I actually won that. Oh. Alright, one more fight. Let's see if we can beat this guy. Nice. Oh no! My turn. Again, I don't know any fatalities, but sick game. Absolutely love it. Primal Rage 2. Get yourself a BMA Drive, play Primal Rage 2. You won't be disappointed. It's a fantastic game. Alright, so now I'm going to get into some niche stuff that I really like that happens to be on here and isn't on other drives that you might find. We're going to stay in the P's and arcade classics, and I'm going to go down to one of my favorite games of all time. Anyone who knows me knows that I talk about this game a lot. I really love this game. This is Parodius. Parodius started out as a parody of Gradius and was originally released in Japan only. It's been released on a few other home console systems as well. However, this is my favorite version of it. My favorite version of it is the arcade version. It's just better than the console ports. Oh, what happened? There it is. Okay, so let's coin up. I really love using Twin B and Pentaru. I'm gonna go Twin B. The graphics in this game, the gameplay is just charming. I just love this game. You know, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's a decent shmup though. I actually prefer it to Gradius. That might be sacrilege to mention, but it's true. There's also a game called Twin B. I don't know that it's related to Gradius, but I do know that there is a game called Twin B that features Twin B. Oops, I'm supposed to change the color of that, and I didn't. Got an option. Kill some crabs. Should have saved that for when stuff was on the screen, but that's all good. I gotta change the color of that. I want it to be white, if possible. Green is okay. Blue is good. Give me the blue. Okay. I think I made D Thomas from NC. If you're not familiar with him, I made him play this game in one of his lives. Just because I love this game so much and I wanted to see someone else play it. Now, I love this game. It's tremendously hard, and it's a little unforgiving and frustrating and rage-inducing, but I still love it. Oh, it's that weird thing. Okay, I'm going to beat this first boss here. This is actually the mini-boss. It's a cat boat flying thing. Why? I haven't a clue. And that's part of why I love this game so much. Alright, Parodius. It's on here. It's kind of an obscure title. I absolutely love that it's on here and love that I can play it on a mobile console. Let's move on. So let's move into something else. What else can I show? Oh, here we go. Let's go into the PSP. PSP has some absolutely banger games. And I believe that, you know, this might be a full PSP library on here. Let me skip Maverick Hunter X. Again, one of my favorite games of all time. This is basically an upgraded version of the original Mega Man X for another system that we just won't talk about, again, for legal YouTube reasons and whatnot. That being said, this is the absolute best way, in my opinion, the definitive way to play this game. It's the PSP version, and you will see why in just a second here. So the original PSP did have an OLED screen. This also has an OLED screen, obviously much bigger than the original, But got your anime cutscenes here. I'm gonna skip that for the sake of just going into the gameplay. So we got our voice acting. Let's do it. Okay. We can use the gameplay. Okay, hold on. Love this game. And totally the best way to play it. Alright, I'll just play some of the first level so you can see, you know, the colors look great, the sound is great. Let's kill this bee. You know, this game is absolutely fantastic. If you're a fan of the Mega Man X series, again, this is the best way to play the first game. I think there's an energy thing down here. Alright. Another bee. Maverick Hunter X, it's on here. Absolutely fantastic game. So glad that it's actually on here. A couple things to notate about the BMA drive. There are some things that you might have to adjust. Eli has painstakingly gone through the library that's on here and tried to make sure that everything loads up perfect the first time, and he gets it about 98% of the way there. There might be some obscure things that you run into, and there's some settings that might need to be a little bit adjusted. I've notified Eli of some of these things, and he's already working on fixing them for new iterations of the drive. So depending on when you order from him, you might get one that has all these things fixed already. Either way, there's not a lot of problems. One of the things that I did run into, though, was that all of the emulators related to this company here, being the original system, and then this one, the Super one, and then the Game Boys. By default, the emulator that he has in here was set to use analog stick instead of the D-pad. So simple fix. I can actually walk you through it real quick. We'll go in here. I'm not going to actually go into a game, but I'm going to bring up the menu here, and then we're going to go into Open Ensign. That's the emulator for this. And we're going to go to Settings here at the top, and then you're going to go to Input. And then you're going to tap on the emulator that you want to adjust the settings for. I've already done it, so I'm going to go to this one here, and then I'm just going to go to Setup. And all you want to do is just remap the D-pad here. Just tap it and then tap the direction on the D-pad, click OK. I've already done it, so I don't need to. Tap OK here. It'll bring you right back out to the emulator. You can actually close out the emulator, and now you're back in Big Box, and you can start up your game, and you can play as normal, and it will correctly be mapped to the D-pad instead of the analog stick. So just a little tip there to help you out with your configuration. But let's get into more games. Let's see, what else can we look at? Oh, one of the systems that I've absolutely been obsessed with playing recently is Neo Geo. Neo Geo is a fantastic system. There are so many bangers on this game. I'm going to go through one that my boy Dantron already showed. I'll put it up here. If I can find it. Right here. Nightmare in the Dark. Now this is a game I haven't actually started up on this yet. But just to show you that Eli has gone through and configured everything, and it boots up. Hopefully it boots up. There we go. And we're in, of course, and it works right away. Oh, I'm already in. Okay. So this is Nightmare in the Dark. This game was brought to my attention by Mr. Wolfman, and then Dantron featured it in one of his daily retros, and It's just a great game. Reminds me a little bit of a game like Bubble Bobble. It's so much fun to play. It's even more fun to play with 2 players. Oops, I missed my power up there. So you set these zombies on fire. I think I made DT play this game on a Friday stream as well. I try to make DT play obscure games. Not all of them good. Sometimes I make him play really bad games. But anyway, this game is not a really bad game. I actually really, really like this game. Anyway, Nightmare in the Dark for the Neo Geo. Another fantastic title. Love this game. I don't know why that keeps coming up. Windows must have updated or something. Either way, it's kind of annoying. There we go. Change the focus back. You know, basically a full Neo Geo library in here. And, you know, it's just really good. If you haven't played a Neo Geo before, get a BMA Drive and play the Neo Geo. You will not regret it, especially if you're into retro arcade classics and stuff like that. It's absolutely just a really good system. Okay, anyway, I've said enough about Neo Geo. Let's turn this down a little bit as I'm scrolling through here. We got, you know, again, I'm just kind of scrolling through so that you guys can see just the sheer amount of stuff that is on this drive. Again, 2 terabytes of gaming classics, and some full libraries for systems as well. And he is, Mr. BMA himself has gone through and made sure that things are configured and work for you. I'm trying to find something else that I can show on here. Something else that might be good. We got Jaguar on here. Actually, you know, I never played a Jaguar before. I heard there's some really awful games on there, though. But anyway, it might be fun to take out. We've got Doom Project Brutality on here. These are like custom versions of the Doom games that are really good. I've messed with a few of those and I really like them. We'll go into the menu. I'm not going to showcase them, but there's a few different versions on here. And if you like the Doom series, the classic Doom series, these are great. Let's see, what else do we have? I want to see if something's on here. I don't think it'll be playable, but I just want to see if something's on here. Okay, Ninja Gaiden Black. Absolute banger of a game. I'm not going to start it up right now, but it's on here. It's a great game. Go play it. What's a game where I can like just jump into the action that isn't from that company? Beats of Rage Open. Don't know what that is. It's probably a rhythm type game or something like that. We're stuck on Virtual Boy over here. There we go. Let's go into Dreamcast. Dreamcast is another super underrated system. Has some bangers. Shenmue is on here. I'm not going to boot that up because it would take forever. Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. I've already showed some. Oh, Street Fighter Third Strike. Sword of the Berserk. Super underrated game. I really love this game. Technomancer also is another great, weird 3D robot fighter that was on the Dreamcast. I believe this was in the arcade as well. Anyway, this is a fantastic game. There's just so many good things on here. Alone in the Dark, underrated series in my opinion. I really loved the original, even though the graphics, when you go back and look at it now, it's super hard to play. It's a little hard on the eyes. But it wasn't back in the day. Anyway, this is a better version of Alone in the Dark, and it's actually pretty good. Dreamcast, underrated system. Game Gear. There's just so much on here. You're not going to get tired of playing games on this drive, and the fact that you have this in the palm of your hands to be able to play on the go or whatever. You don't need a OneXFly F1 Pro to play these things. You can play these on basically any of the handheld PCs, or you don't even need a handheld PC. Play it on a desktop, play it on a laptop, use it on a PC that's in an arcade cabinet that you've built or whatever. Get yourself a BMA Drive, play these games. I want to thank my boy Eli for making this drive. You know, I supported him. I spent my own money on this drive. He didn't send it to me for free or anything like that. I wanted to support him. The link to his Etsy store is down below. You know, post any comments you have, any questions you might have. I'll try to answer the comments. Try to answer all of the comments, even though, you know, sometimes it gets a little bit busy in the comment section down there. Try to answer everything. Check out Eli. Can't say it enough. BMA, his Etsy store down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and join me on the next one where we look at more gaming stuff. All right, guys, I'll see you on the next video.